but they have to make a similarly smart decision when it comes to what the depth chart looks like behind him. Is it Hunter Shepard? Is he your 2? Clay Stevenson with limited pro experience, but moving up the charts quite rapidly, and a guy we know very well from some time in Kelowna in the offseason, and like a lot about him, his mindset and his game. He's there in the American Hockey League, but obviously could use some more time and more games played. The decision they need, I would argue, they probably need, unless they're convinced it's Shepard, they might need to find the next Charlie Lindgren. Can they go find a guy for 3 years at 1.25 that can follow in those footsteps? That's what you want to do if you're the Washington Capitals. Is it a guy like Kevin Lankinen, who had some underlying numbers that were similarly impressive to what Charlie did when he got this opportunity and made the most of it?
And Los Angeles invested very little monetarily in their goaltending a year ago. Go a different route with Darcy Kemper returning to the Kings organization.
Yeah, and listen, like last year was not a great year for Darcy, statistically at least. But I don't think you look at this as, the beginning of the end by any means, because his first season in Washington was fine. And he was, Cup winner up until that Stanley Cup win. Like, his numbers were consistently above expected. And he's going to go to an environment with, if they maintain the defensive identity that they've had to this point, and they kept the head coach, your floor, your base level, your expected save percentage is typically higher than anywhere else in the league. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the league. So every goalie probably wants to play behind that team. And for Darcy, the other part too is he's returning to a conference he's more familiar with. I do wonder a little bit, like, how much going from the West to the East after spending your whole time in the West, as much as you know everybody, like, these are teams he knows more intimately and has faced. And so the tendencies and trends should be a little more familiar to him. And I think the biggest thing about this season is there were just so many injuries for him. I think that you're counting on that being the reason this season was so far down statistically from his norms.
Off-season to make the transition, he's going to an organization that he's already been a part of. So that should help that switch over to the Los Angeles Kings a little bit more, and then the motivation to be healthy and to be ready to go. And when it comes to the mind, there's no better person to help you out with that than Pete Fry. Hutch.
Pete Fry, good friend of In Goal, as you know. All kinds of articles over at the site if you want to learn more about mindset. And Pete, again, is doing a series of summer seminars. Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Vancouver, and, which I think is probably of most importance to people listening to this show, a virtual seminar. We will be on hand in Vancouver. We will be broadcasting it over the internet. If you would like to check out Pete's seminars, you get $25 off as an In Goal member of the virtual seminar. So great incentive to become an In Goal member. And if you attend one of Pete's seminars in person, he's going to give you an In Goal membership, because Pete said he thought it's important that all his students have a membership to In Goal because it's such a great place to learn. Look, guys, I think we've said it many times before. I think we're the best deal in goaltending. You could pay hundreds of dollars for a new stick a couple of times a year, or you could spend only $50 to sit down with NHL goalies and coaches all year long to learn. So I think it's a steal, but there's so many great ways of getting it now because so many people believe in it. Kevin will tell you again a little bit later how every Stop It Goaltending U app subscription comes with access to In Goal's content as well. Our friends at GDI USA are giving it to many of their campers this year. And this week, I just had a great conversation. I want to welcome Travis Hoy into the fold. He's a BCHL goalie coach, and he is giving all his summer camp students an In Goal membership because he wants them to be able to learn from us all year long. So imagine getting to train in the beautiful Okanagan region of British Columbia with a young, innovative coach. And then he throws in a year of In Goal for your learning as well. So nice bonus for going to his camps. I would suggest you check out travishoygoaltending.com. Is your goalie school giving you In Goal? Because if they're not, maybe you should ask. There's one other coming up this week that we'll be finding out. But I was asked to keep it a surprise because he wants to let his students know first later on this week. And if not, check with your coach.
Oh, see, I was probably about to blurt that out. Yep. So good thing you could see that Hutch is like looking. He's like, Woodley's going to do something
Woody
stupid
likes
again.
To talk. These
He's got breaking news.
I haven't mentioned all of them, but those are several of the coaches that are sharing In Goal. So we'd love it, and we want to thank all of them for their support as well.
Can't wait for the virtual seminar with Pete Fry. If we were a piece of merchandise on the shelf of the hockey shop, Source for Sports Langley, In Goal, a membership there would be flying off the shelf.
That may happen before the end of the year. We're working on that.
Really?
Yeah. Had some.
See, I almost blew that too.
Well, the hamsters.
I thought you were. I thought you were going to say that if we were on the shelf at Hockey Shop, we'd be like the expired meat section in your local grocery. Bunch of old stinky guys.
the used equipment. What's going on over at the In Goal and the relationship with the Hockey Shop, Source for Sports Langley, thehockeyshop.com?
Well, let's set up our gear segment for the week, but first remind you, going back to last week's gear segment, the G7 Pro from Warrior exclusive colorways. And there are a lot of other exclusives that you get when you shop at the Hockey Shop, Source for Sports, and hockeyshop.com. It's more than just Cam's pretty face. It's more than just the expertise of the staff that he's put together. It's more than just what seems to be an unlimited supply of equipment as we look around the room every time we film there, and we're just surrounded by walls and walls of gear. It's all that plus taking that expertise and the relationships and leverage he's built with the major manufacturers to give you offers on exclusive content, like the colorways for Warrior, like some specific specs on different brands and different models of chest protectors with extra protection or pants with extra flaps, colorways, things you can't get elsewhere. So make sure you check them out at thehockeyshop.com. Look for those Hockey Shop exclusives. There's a bunch of them. Best prices, best people, best expertise, best way to get your goalie gear. And in the case of this week, best person to talk to about the new Bauer Shadow Chesty, which I hadn't seen before. Cam really dug us into some of the details on what's new, what's improved, and how it blends in with some of their other lines in this week's In Goal Radio gear segment at the Hockey Shop. Welcome back to the Hockey Shop, Source for Sports. We're down here in Goalie Utopia, not down here anymore. Man, we've been in the new store for how long, and I still feel like I'm in the basement.
Your mind's in the basement right now.
I'm with you, Cam.
Yeah, let's get you up and out because
out of the shadows and into the shadow. The new Bauer Shadow Chest Protector. We did the pads, we did the glove, the blocker last week. Now it's time for the new chest protector, and I gotta say, I am feeling very mobile and very protected, and if I might add, a tad large when I look at myself in the mirror in this. I like you.
You are a tad large, so that's why you're wearing a large. Let's talk about this unit. Lots of excitement as Kevin is moving around quite easily, we might add. Actually, I'd like to use a phrase that you just used before. Bulky.
But in a good way.
In a good way. So, Shadow Chest, what's different over the mock? What's really exciting? Let's talk about the overall premise of the chest first. So, still building off of their older Supreme models, like Bauer Pro, those 195s in the way back when.
The way back day.
The original 1Ss and stuff like that. So we're seeing that similar profile still exist in the Shadow Chest Protector itself. But now, again, some inherent differences. So hold your arm out. Hinge 3.0. Third generation of it. Great mobility out of the box.
Smooth. Yeah. Wow. Like this is out of the box, and we're dancing.
So even with
I can play golf with this.
Well, you could try. That'd be kind of cool. So even with the mock unit itself, we still had some iterations where there was some binding. And as Kevin just demonstrated, in an extreme situation where you are pulled out, there was an ability to have some catching. But here, as you notice,
it still went.
Yeah. As you notice, it still went. So the reason being is more segmentation on this actual outer flap here as well. But as it's coming up, this will now want to push it completely out of the way. So once the jersey's over top, that will hold everything in place to where it needs to be. Protection level of the stock unit in terms of for the arms has been beefed up as well. So you're getting more protection out of a fresh arm, but once again, custom still exists and you still have the ability to beef up both that forearm and bicep, as well as the shoulder floaters as well. But that's a different conversation. DTC foam now into the sternum plate. So that's Bauer shock absorbing foam that they're using in their gloves. as well. So again, an absorption quality effect to the actual sternum as you're cradling in that chest shot itself, but also providing you supreme level of protection.
Ooh, good job, Cam.
Okay, stand up. Continue on adjustability of the chest.
What'd that for?
Suspenders.
Don't wear suspenders.
Well,
but if I did,
if you did, you do have the opportunity to run them over top of the shoulder floaters and help to anchor them down, because now we can talk about the ability to wear this chest tucked, untucked, hybrid tuck.
Hybrid tuck.
Hybrid tuck.
Wait, what?
If we look underneath the chest, we can see how these two plates separate. If he lets go of his hand right there, we can see that we can actually separate these two pieces completely. So I can now get half the chest in, half the chest out, and create that new hybrid tuck that we're talking about. Or you can still go fully tucked in, different anchor points in terms of releasing the chest down, as well as an anchor point down low.
So this layer under here goes inside my pants, and this will go outside.
It can, or it can fully go inside, or it can fully go outside. The choice is yours.
Wow, I kind of like this.
All right, spin around like a little top, like your favorite thing to do. All right, nice, breathable back paint, allowing some good airflow overall. We can see the adjustment for the shoulder floaters still remains very similar to what we've seen on years past. The inclusion of that ever coveted fun fight strap, just for those scrappy goalies. One of the nice features that I do like on the back of the arms that continues over from the mock as well is that extra flap in a reverse VH situation. Once you have your jersey on, that will hold that plate down. Just gives you that little bit of extra on that shot that could come over top. Again, great adjustability in terms of for the chest. Similar Velcro adjustable arms to what we've seen in the past from Bauer. And again, one more new feature that I've noticed here as well, just in terms of the adjustment for that side plate. Just a little bit more flexibility in terms of being able to wrap that around your body a little bit more. So overall, very excited about the new Shadow unit itself.
I am digging these arms.
They're pretty good, eh?
I am digging the option to hybrid tuck. I'm digging the fit. I am digging the feel. I am digging the flexibility.
Are you digging the all white?
I'm digging the all white now. I'm not digging the off yellow it's going to look like in a few months. Is this stock or is this?
So if you have any questions, you can give me a call here, 604-589-8299 or 1-800-567-7790. And if you don't like all white and you want your own color, we can talk about custom.
It's beautiful.
Check it out.
All right, take me back. The first time that you saw the Bauer Shadow Chesty, what was your impression?
Well, I think people need to go watch the segment on YouTube and Instagram because they will see, and I don't know that we actually mentioned it, but it jumps out right away because one of the ones that I'm wearing is white. And I was like, what? This is quite unique. It doesn't mean they're all white. Doesn't mean it's your only option because obviously white gear can discolor a little bit. But in addition to all the features that Cam talked about, the way it presents, the way it moved, actually, it wasn't about watching it, Darren. It was about putting it on. I was really impressed. So I love the sort of multiple layers. You can tuck one layer and sort of have the belt, like so you can have that layer of the belly over top of the pants and the other layer tucked in. I liked that. There's lots to love, and Cam did a good job of explaining it. But the white was what jumped out. So make sure you go watch it, folks, because Hutch did a nice job this week. We shot B-roll, sort of showing off some of those different features that Cam talks about. You can see it. You see it on YouTube. No pressure, Hutch.
No pressure because we haven't edited that video yet. I've been feverishly working away on the video from Tendy Fest and wanted to make sure that was ready to go. So I'm a little nervous, and I'm always nervous when we shoot a chest protector video, Woody, because you get the microphones attached to the chesty and things are rustling around. And so I will apologize in advance if the audio quality is not so good, but much like we congratulated both goaltenders in the Stanley Cup final, I will also take credit if the audio is fantastic this week. So all we know is it's a challenge, but it's a sweet chest protector. I love the look of the white shadow. Takes me back to some of the original chesties, that first brown chesty I wore as a university student.
They used to always be white.
Yeah, that's just what it was. So
now
what is new is old, or old is new.
Do you guys have a preference? Do you like colored chest protectors, or does it matter?
Oh, I love the ones that have custom colors now. Like I'm all about how can we get flashy. And I think the black ones were progress just because the gear never dried out in my garage. But if you've got access to a good place to dry your gear, I think the white one looks really sharp.